You're my young Pablo. Your love's got me spinning fandango. My head in the neck with my hands low. The way we switch it up like tango. She made me feel like Pablo. Brought my dark side Diablo. We take it far as we can go.
Sorry, mate.
When I'm with you, I'm young Pablo.
We are officially back.
We're back in business.
This has been a prolonged period away, and at the minute I'm staring at a computer and watching how loud that my voice is recording. We've had, 2 months away?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 months.
Been about that, yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Why? Man, there's a lot of reasons. Well, there's a few anyway, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, a big thing is just trying to get good content out there, figuring out what type of content we want to deliver. Want to make sure it's the right stuff, it's engaging stuff. We just don't want to be putting stuff out for the sake of it.
Yeah, we don't want people to just be listening and tuning in and then going away at the end of half an hour, 45 minutes at the end of the podcast and thinking, what was the point of the podcast? So we want to bring new content, and we also want to give it a structure.
Yeah.
And we spoke a lot about this, especially over the last 2 or 3 weeks, like what can we do differently going forward? And with your expertise in music, and that's where your passion is, for me, it goes back to our roots where we started, and we've got to start putting your audio back into it, and I've got to start taking your lyrics and breaking them down, because those lyrics are so transferable into day-to-day life. I mean, you talk about everything from history to philosophy to politics to emotional patterns to behaviours to actions, everything. Yeah. So we can take your lyrics and not dissect them, because that can almost look like a bit of an insult, and just really put them through into day-to-day life, and let people understand that there really is a message behind what you're talking about or what you're rapping. What do you even say? Rapping, singing, talking?
It's rapping, yeah. It's not singing, it's rapping.
Your modern day poetry.
Modern day poetry, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like
the sound of that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the direction that we are going to go.
Yeah.
And progress towards. There's other reasons why we've had a break away. We've changed location. We are now sat in Shaq's flat.
Home studio.
And explain the surroundings, please, Shaq, because I'm loving this.
Yeah, we started designing the place, man. We got a little home studio built up, set up for the podcast and other stuff. We've got some planets around us. We're literally floated in the middle of the universe right now. In this podcast, we're getting the settings right. We're gonna bring this to video now.
Yeah,
we want you to see as well as hear. So that's the next step. So hopefully the next podcast will be us live in the flesh.
Yeah, I agree.
Even start doing live streaming.
Yeah.
There's so many options for us right now, especially now that we've brought it home instead of going to a studio and doing it. And it's just the beginning of something great.
I agree completely.
There's a lot to do, and you know what? It comes back to a lot of things, and it's like we have a problem with fixed mindsets and having growth mindsets, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, but a lot of time we get fixed with our habits and stuff like that, and we really need to push ourselves and find new ways to grow, because if you don't, you never really find what you truly desire, and you can never really contribute to society as much as you'd like, or as much as you should.
How do you feel you can recognise whether you've got a fixed or a growth mindset?
Well, it's extremely difficult, especially it's more difficult if you've got a fixed mindset, because you're not really going to go searching for that information to find any better. But man, the best way is to educate yourself, reading the right books, watching the right content. And who doesn't want to become a better version of themselves? Like, this is what you've got to think. Like, if you're just happy being you, that's great. But if you want to become a better version of yourself, if you want to become the best at something that you do, you've got to start thinking about changing your mindset or finding out where your behaviour falls into this fixed pattern.
Yeah.
Because that's a really important thing. You want to be able to grow, and you need to stimulate your brain. Otherwise, you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah,
absolutely. And one thing on that, the last thing you want to do is get to the age of 50 and still have the same mindset as when you were 20-year-old.
Yeah.
That to me expresses no growth, expresses no change. And I think people are very fearful of change. And I understand that. I understand why people are fearful of change, because you're going into the unknown. It's uncertain.
Yeah.
But you've got to become comfortable with being in an uncertain situation. In fact, that's all. You can never really be comfortable in an uncertain situation, but you can get used to it.
Yeah.
But it is difficult. You must be used to it within reason because of the amount of shows and performance that you do.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's going to take off more and more. But you've been, how old were you when you first started performing?
About 13, 14.
13 years old. Now just imagine performing at the age of 13-year-old on the rave scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been daunting.
Yeah, it was fun.
So what drove you? What drove you to get into that? How did you actually originally start getting into the rave scene? What made you get to the point where you thought, right, that's it, I want to get on the stage now and I want to perform for everybody else? What was the motivating factor?
It just excited me when I first seen the people emceeing on the mics, and
I just think maybe come a bit closer.
when it just excited me, like the fact that. No, not the fact. Sorry, let's start again.
Yeah.
I was a bit confused there. But when I seen people on the decks, DJs on the decks, MCs on the mic, it just excited me. It just got me going. And before I knew it, I was writing in my bedroom. And then I was like, asked my mum and dad for turntables.
Did you?
Yeah, obviously I didn't just get them. I had to work towards them, and I saved up and whatever. And then I went down to Cash Converters, got some Technic 1200s, went back to mine. There used to be a record shop in Middlesbrough called Storm Tracks. We used to go get our vinyls. Me and little Dan, DJ Smithy. It was proper grassroots stuff when you think about it.
Yeah.
Stuff that I'm fortunate to have just been right on the edge of that, because if I was born a few years after what I was, I'd have missed out on all that. Because it all went to CD and more digital.
Yeah.
And I would have missed that era. But it just gave me such a thrill, and I just wanted to write, and I just wanted to impress people with my skills. That's where it became. It became an obsession. From the moment. It was just all about being the best MC from a proper young age.
And is that what you wanted to achieve at that time? Was that so?
That's what it was at the beginning. Yeah, it's changed now.
Yeah, of course. But at the age of 13, you actually said to yourself, "I want to be the best in this business."
Oh yeah, definitely. From a kid, everything that I've done, I've always had like that. I always say I was playing football. I'd be playing football in my living room, imagining I was in a big stadium.
Oh wow!
You know, we're scoring goals and then celebrating as if.
It's a nice
I'm
imagination.
sure that lots of kids do this. Or you'd watch boxing fights and that, so I'd put the boxing gloves on, and I'd watch Bruce Lee, or I'd listen to Bob Marley, or I'd listen to whatever. Do you know, people that were known to be the greatest, and I always had obsessions with that.
So, what I'm trying to link this to now is you've had a growth mindset from a very young age, whether you realise it or not. You probably realise it now looking back, but you've always wanted to excel in anything that it is what you do.
Yeah.
And to have the growth mindset, you have to be willing to do something that you haven't done before. You have to be willing to learn something new. And you've always been pushing yourself, especially in the music industry, to do that. And it's what you're doing right now. You're pushing yourself to be the best in your business. And it's good, mate. It's inspiring. It's passionate. And for me, from an outsider's perspective, I take a lot of growth myself from it, because I see what you're doing. You create your own obsession, and I think, well, I can learn from this, and I want to do this going forward. I remember when we first got back together. It's like we were a relationship that's split up. But
I miss you.
Yeah, man. But it was a good time. I came round here. We spent a night round here. Downing was here as well. And I remember you were rapping for us then, I was blew away. And I was sat back and I was watching it, and when you're lost for words. And I really was lost for words. I was like, this bloke has created an obsession, a very healthy obsession, and he's passionate about it, and he's inspiring others to come and follow him and do something similar, to find their own passion, to find their own purpose. And the morning after that, I woke up and I was like, what am I doing? What have I been doing the last 27 years of my life? So I remember at the time, I was like, I need to do more. I need to create my own passion. I need to find out what my purpose is in life. But I feel like that's where a lot of people are lost in our area. They don't have a purpose. They've got no direction. When you've got no direction, you're making no progress. And I've said this term before because I stand by it. When you've got no direction, no purpose, you're just like a leaf blowing around in the wind. You've got nothing to aim for.
It's just that we have this issue, especially where we're from, and just as how it is right now. It's as long as we've got people to look down on, people feel all right.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you feel like you're doing better than the next man or the next person, people tend to be able to crack on. And then it's just, you know what? In many ways, it's a nice way to live. Like, we can't knock anyone that has fixed mindset. As long as they're happy.
Yeah.
Then
But I
so
would
be
ask
it.
for more. I'd ask for
But-
more out of life than happiness.
But if people are unhappy, and they don't recognise that they have a fixed mindset, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Because it's your fixed mindset that's leading you to unhappiness. Because you're not really digging deep and finding what you desire or what your purpose is, and that's important for everyone. We as humans, we're just going to be depressed. We're depressed. We're going to be depressed if we don't have something that's going to get us up the next morning. You're gonna fall down a dark hole. It's like a vicious cycle. You're going to start hating yourself. You're not going to give you 100%, and if you're not giving you 100% at things, you're gonna be unhappy.
And I feel like Middlesbrough's struggling in general. Middlesbrough and the North East in particular. The one scary statistic that haunts me when I think about it is the fact that Middlesbrough, or last year at least anyway, was the capital of suicide in the
Yeah.
UK. That is awful to understand and to hear. And I do feel like that is down to lack of opportunity. And when you have lack of opportunity, you have no direction, and that goes back to the purpose thing that I was saying earlier. So we have a real issue with mental health in our area, but it's because people just don't know which way to turn anymore. But
Yeah.
the truth is, you got to turn to yourself. You got to look inside for the answers. Nobody's going to give them to you. Nobody's going to give you an opportunity around here because there are few opportunities. So you got to make your own. And
Yeah.
I think it's up to you to go out there and do that. Like you are right now with your music. You've found your passion. You've found your purpose. You've found your belonging, Shaq. You know you were put on this planet to do music. You know it. You know it, and I know it. And I feel like that I understand my purpose on this planet now, and I feel like I know my direction going forward. But I've been there in the past where I've hit rock bottom, and I've been like, fuck, like which way do I turn next? I mean, at one point, right, so I had this stigma or this label attached to myself in my own life at the age of 20, was it 24? 29? I was either 24 or 25, and I just moved back to my parents, right? And I was 25 years old, moved back to my parents. I had absolutely no route out of there, so I was living with my parents for the foreseeable future. Single parent, divorced, went from being reasonably successful in the Royal Marines to being a wagon driver, starting work at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, when I actually take that picture and put it into context, I'm thinking, I was like, no wonder I was at rock bottom. No wonder I didn't know which way to turn. And it's took a lot of digging deep and looking inside for the answers and take responsibility of the direction of my own life to find my passions, to find my purpose. And then that helps me or help other people. Like, I haven't got the answers for nobody, but I can definitely help people take responsibility in their own life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's part of the battle. People can't take responsibility for their own actions, for their own words, for their own thoughts, for their own feelings, for their own emotions. Like, thoughts are sporadic, they come out of nowhere, but you can direct which thoughts to follow.
Yeah.
You so many thoughts into our head, but you really can channel your thoughts and make a positive mindset for yourself, and you can put them into something good and useful and give yourself direction going forward.
Yeah.
And you clearly do that, Shaq. You clearly do that with your music.
Yeah, it's I dedicate myself to it, and it helps. It's a coping mechanism in many ways. It's just a way to express yourself, and it's so important for people to be able to express themselves, because what we tend to find is it's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of restrictions in what we do in day-to-day life. Like, it demands a lot from us. We have to be polite, we have to be calm, we have to be on time, punctual, all the rest of it. It's just it's slowly breaking us down because it's too robotic. We, as humans, we need to be able to express ourselves, and it's just not happening.
Do you think that our culture, struggle to express ourselves?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of restrictions within culture, but culture thrives with expression. Like, in the underbelly of every city, town, the art is what's thriving. It's what it's what people know.
The creative mindset.
It's the actual heartbeat of a culture or a country. It's not the people you see in charge of a country. It's not the dictatorships, the presidents, the prime ministers, the governments. It's the people. And then, but we're closed off from that. We're closed off from that. That's why there's so much division. Like, we don't, like a person living in England that won't have been exposed to how someone lives somewhere else as much as they should have been. And that's why there's difficulties with people, like, say, like, for instance, where there's a big issue with foreigners and stuff, because if you just listen to what you hear on the media, you're going to think every black person's a rapist and every brown person's a terrorist.
Yeah,
and
I know
that
what
is
you
not
mean.
a way to
It's
go living
label.
your life.
No, it's a label.
Yeah, but there's people out there that understand. There are a lot more. There's people out there. There's good people, man. You
More
can't
with
think
more of an
everyone's bad.
open mind.
Yeah, but you got to understand. Like, look at these news outlets, the media. It's like, look at Rupert Murdoch, for instance, man. It's
I mean,
he's got so much money and power.
how many media outlets is he in charge of?
Yeah, exactly. It's just endless, and they control basically what we see, and it tends to be biased.
Yeah, of course it is.
Tends to be biased. Like,
It has to be.
For instance, like, you know, the Scottish referendum. Remember that?
Yeah.
Was it 2017, 2018? There was a
Might be
documentary or
2016.
something about that, and it shows how many times the BBC used scare tactics
Really?
to influence the Scottish referendum.
Scaremongering.
Yeah, and it showed how many
Okay.
articles that they put danger warning in front of in the span of like so many months leading up to the referendum. This is the reason why the media is so powerful, because it influences us, just like music, entertainment influences us. But there's restrictions to it. So if I want to sit here, or if I was a mainstream character, for instance, and I wanted to talk about the conflict with Israel and Palestine, for instance, or I want to talk about, I don't know, like issues with minorities and blah blah blah, there's a good chance that I'm not going to make it to the mainstream anymore if I start. Look at Russell Brand, for instance.
Yeah.
Shouting his mouth off. Now he's not really accepted in Hollywood.
No, he's not. He got taken away from it, really, didn't he? And it's a
Exactly.
shame because he has a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, you get blackballed.
Yeah.
So especially it's difficult because the system's got us by our balls, because we need to feed our families, we need to make money to survive. And these people don't want to speak out because they will get blackballed. It's fear. We're controlled by this fear of they're going to take your livelihood away if you do speak out on things. So sometimes it's best just to keep your mouth shut and stay away.
Sometimes keeping your mouth shut though, like that feels like you're living a bit of a dishonest life, and I feel like that's one of the most valued or undervalued personality traits is being honest. Like you really should just be honest in as much as you possibly can. Like, don't be honest to hurt somebody's feelings, but just be honest. And sometimes we can't talk openly and we can't express ourselves fully because we are scared and we live in fear. We live in fear of upsetting people. We live in fear of saying the wrong thing and then getting ridiculed. Like, I mean, if this podcast was massive and we said the wrong thing, then you know you're going to face a backlash. Mm-hmm. So we live in fear all the time of what how we are expressing ourselves.
And then that's where I found my avenue. That's what I want to contribute to society with my music. I want my music to uplift people. I want my music to be there for people, and because it's been there for me. So that's what I want to contribute to society. That's where I found my purpose.
Do you think it uplifts you when you're writing?
If I'm writing something good.
You're always writing something good.
Sometimes you're not always on form, and that gets to you because you take it so seriously. But it's just been such a great outlet for me. It's literally saved me from a lot of things. It saved me from a lot of things, just having that outlet. I feel like the thing with writing and with me, it's like I need to absorb information. That's what makes me feel like I'm putting the best me out there. I like to absorb as much information as I can. And that's been a big part of the growth, because by accident, by wanting to be the best whatever, MC, best rapper, best writer, I accidentally started absorbing knowledge that's been beneficial to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's from listening to your Tupacs. You're like, well, where does he learn that from? Listening to a Low Key, where's he got that information from? And before you know it, you're invested in these things. And obviously, coming from a background where my parents are Iranian, and my granddad obviously having such close ties to what happened in the 1979 revolution in Iran. That's always been within me. Like, I've always seen corruption. I've seen how families are affected by war. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen people torn apart. I've seen what it does to people's minds, how it breaks them down, how they're never the same again.
You have a real broad understanding of it because it's almost affected your life directly.
Yeah, it's directly. So it's just it all fell into place. It was almost like that. Yeah, I'd say it was my purpose.
Yeah, that's nice, because not a lot of people can find the purpose in life.
Yeah,
But everybody has a purpose in life.
They
And
do.
that's what I want to try and get through to people, is that everybody really does have a purpose in life.
yeah,
It's just up to you to go out there and find it. And there's many different ways you can find it. There's many different ways that you can find your purpose in life. Many. But first of all, it starts by taking responsibility.
yeah.
Just take responsibility for the direction that you're going. And then it is up to you to really find it. It really is. There's something that we want to do going forward with the podcast, and that's, I think, with the issues surrounding mental health in the area, I think it makes sense to try and get some sort of classroom, like some area the size of a classroom, and every 2 weeks, like let's just say a Wednesday evening between 6 and 8, we welcome people down to come and go through basically finding your own purpose in life. Like we'll give many different scenarios to people, but what I want to try and do is let people understand what it is that's holding them back, because in reality it's only you. The only person that is ever holding somebody back in life is themselves, and we're all blockaded by our own limited perceptions of ourselves. We just don't believe in ourselves. Very few people on this planet truly believe in themselves. We're just full of self-doubt. And then you get people to understand the values and what they value most in life. Now, priorities and values are slightly different, but they're also a little bit similar. So let people understand what they value in life. Like, do you value freedom? Now, if you value freedom, now the truest form of freedom is your own free will. So it's your ability to choose what you do in life. Now, I do believe in free will, and I do believe that you've got the option to control or to decide which thoughts that you follow. So it's letting people understand their values, and in particular freedom, and then going through some goal setting scenarios where you push people into certain categories in life. In my eyes, there's 7 main categories in life, but you let people understand these 7 main areas, and then each week they try and hit different targets, different goals, or each month they try and hit a slightly bigger goal. And then within the year, they've achieved so many things. They've had progress, they've had direction. Public speaking, reading up on this the other week, 95% of the public have a fear of public speaking. And now that does not surprise me. I almost class this as public speaking, because we are speaking out loud to people who are listening to us. It's not directly public speaking, because you haven't got an audience sat in front of you, but it's very similar. You got to think about what you're going to say next. You can't just blurt out your words because you don't know what's going to come out. You got to really engage your brain and then speak. 95% of people have a fear of public speaking. So if we were to set up this program where people come down every 2 weeks, that could be something that you could incorporate. The amount of growth that you would get from standing in front of an audience and speaking. And then you can take them through this process of change, and we could be the conduits of change. I genuinely believe it. Like all the way through my life now, I'm trying to do as many possible things as I can to encourage change in my own life, because I do feel like you grow through discomfort, and you don't want to sit in that comfort zone. You want to push yourself into the growth place. You want to give yourself the growth mindset over a fixed mindset. And the more that we get this through to people, then I feel like the more our area where we live is going to thrive, and you'll see people like popping up here, there and everywhere, like that have found these inspirational ideas and then followed them through. Because like I said, unfulfilled potential, our area is full of it. There's extraordinary people come from ordinary backgrounds.
Absolutely, yeah.
They really do.
They do, and it's through the struggle. Do you know, with public speaking, how you say so many people are afraid? It's funny how when you conquer those fears, how amazing you'd feel after it. Do you know, if something really makes you feel uncomfortable and it's within your reach to be able to conquer that fear? If it's something obviously not completely outrageous, you know, something like public speaking where you can actually achieve it, like put yourself in that situation and you conquer it, because all that'll happen is you benefit from it for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's the only thing that can happen. There's nothing that bad can come from actually trying.
Absolutely. Do the thing that you fear, like
apart from absolutely fucking it up.
Well, it can happen, but then you learn.
Yeah, this is a massive misconception, isn't it? You never lose in a situation. You can only really learn from it. Like in life, do you think you're going to get through it completely without any scratches, without any scars? Like, this is life. Yeah. Like, this is life. We've just been wrapped up in this little life where we can easily get water from a tap, where food's all stacked up for us in a supermarket, and all the rest of it. life's rough.
Yeah.
We're lucky to be privileged enough to be able to listen to this podcast, people listening, and it's lucky enough to be able to make it.
Yeah.
It just shows what position of privilege you're in right now.
Yeah.
Like life stuff, you're gonna get scarred, but learn from them.
Yeah, learn from those, not even mistakes, but just learn from those real tough times in life and do the thing that you fear. Like that little feeling in your stomach when you're just about to do something that's uncomfortable and you get that feeling in your stomach, that anxiety builds up and you're pumping with adrenaline because you're just like, what's going on? Like all you want to do is run away. You just want to flight. You just want to get out of that situation. But it's times like that where you just look at yourself, you take a deep breath, and you don't fight those emotions.
Yeah.
Just take a deep breath, let them come, but just don't accept them. Just let them come, let them be there, and challenge them, and put your conscious mind in. Activate your conscious mind, and then challenge it and go forward. And that thing that you fear the most, right there and then, do it.
Yeah, and not everybody can do it. Not
No.
everybody's going to be able to do it. It's going to be tough for people because they're going to be a bit fixed. I'm not saying anybody can do it, but not everybody can do it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, and it's about putting yourself in those situations. It's like almost having a switch. You've got to be able to just flick that switch, because that's what's going to separate you from the average people, and that's literally what's going to separate you from the average people. If you want to be the best at what you do.
Yeah. The only thing that's stopping you do it is the belief about yourself that you're not good enough. But everybody's good enough. You just got to put yourself in that situation, and when you're in that situation, believe in yourself. Be the greatest possible version of yourself. Don't be a mouse in that situation. Be a fucking lion.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like next time you feel them butterflies, goosebumps, like actually like take a moment and embrace them, because that's been the biggest thing for me. Like say before you're performing or something and you get them goosebumps, if you actually just take a second just to really like let those feelings sink in, it's amazing. It's like what a time to be alive, actually feeling those feelings. Like it upsets me thinking of a day where I'm not going to feel that anymore.
Yeah, don't.
You know what I mean? Like that you're alive, man. Embrace that feeling of adrenaline, of butterflies, goosebumps, because it's just amazing.
Yeah, you've got the option. You've got the option to welcome these times into your life.
Yeah.
Like it's up to you to give yourself the opportunity, and you really can. You really can give yourself the platform to move forward. It's up to you. Like this full situation that I'm in right now with the role, I'm going around schools and giving educational talks, and I mean, I even gave a presentation in years, and before I gave my first presentation last week, I was shitting myself. I was like, why have I done this? Like, why have I put myself in this position? I could quite easily go back to work right now. I don't need to be in this situation. But then I thought to myself, no, this is everything that I've asked for. This is everything that I want to do going forward. This is exactly what I want to do right now. And I took a couple of deep breaths. I was like, right, just believe in yourself. Put all those doubts at the back of your mind, because you know what you're capable of.
Well, it was so easy to do, isn't it? Like, could be watching something. It could be absolutely anything, but it happens to me all the time. It's about catching it. It's where you just say, you instantly reject something. Your brain's like, nope. You don't even get a real chance to think about it. It just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. You're just like, nah. You've done it with me. I've said, oh, try watch this film. You're like, nah. Nah. Not interested. Or that's just at a very obviously basic level, where this translates to loads of areas of everyday life. It's like just being able to realise like what you're rejecting. Like give things a try. Like just give it a try. There's nothing wrong with looking silly. Like this is a big problem, isn't it? Like people taking themselves too seriously. Like stop taking yourself too seriously. Like people who've been through shit and you're still taking yourself too seriously. Like you've got to realise like sometimes you've got to let things be. Got to let things be. It's okay to make a fool out of yourself for trying to do something new. It's absolutely fine.
You've tried.
Yeah, you challenge yourself.
Yeah,
Man.
you're challenging yourself.
How are you going to grow? Otherwise, you're just as good at...
You're entering that state of mind where growth belongs. And
Well, that's another thing. It's not for everyone. If you want to be the best at something, if you want to really like push yourself, be at that optimum level, these are the things you need to think about doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in a rut. Like I guess that's where it is. Like for a long time, like thinking about the podcasts, you think you're speaking to everyone, but really, this is for people who want to grow.
Yeah.
Isn't it? We're having a conversation together about how we can grow, and for a long time I've been thinking of how to cater for the people with maybe fixed mindsets, but they're probably not listening to the podcast.
No, they're probably not. There's no point, yeah. Catering for somebody that... It's like catering for a vegan when there's no vegans there.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Vegans get a lot of hate, but I think
Yeah,
it's
they do.
because they're so cult-like. You know, when you...
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I like the idea. I think that I have a big conscience at the end of the day, and every time I eat meat now, I can't help but picture the animal that I'm eating, and I feel guilty every single time.
Yeah. Not
Every
guilty
time.
enough to stop eating it, though.
Not guilty enough because
No,
it
but
does
I
taste
do.
nice.
I've actually been like that since a kid, but I've never ate much veg.
But I think
It's great that there's an alternative. Isn't there? Like, it's fantastic that it's actually like a popular alternative now going vegan.
It's
fantastic,
growing.
but I don't want to feel guilty
No, you don't
for
have
eating-
to.
for posting food.
No,
I
you
don't want
have
to feel
to.
guilty about posting a burger.
No,
30-day matured, 60-day matured beef.
I've just eaten 30 days in a row.
Oh, I could eat a burger, a vegan one.
But I think
I
Shaq,
can't eat.
moving forward. So where have we been? We've been moving location.
Making new music.
Shaq's been creating some fucking fantastic music, which will be in the next podcast. I think we've been working quite a lot on content. I myself have. Shaq has been reading this, that, and the other. We've thought of a good structure going forward. We also want to challenge any stigma that's surrounding the local area attached to mental health, and we want to welcome people with open arms who want to bring a growth mindset into their life. And also, we would love to get some sort of space and try and create something that gives people purpose in life and direction, and let them make progress towards what they want to achieve in life. Do the thing that you fear to become the person that you aspire to be.
Yeah.
Really do.
Amazing. Well, we could wrap it up here.
I think we can wrap it up.
Keep
I
it
mean,
short and sweet.
short
'cause
and
next
sweet.
time we're going to be on video.
Yeah.
Maybe anyway, let's not push it.
I think more than likely we'll be.
try it.
If we're not, then we're not. It's because we're still working on it. But the setup in here right now is beautiful, so comfortable. No, anyway, it should be uncomfortable, shouldn't it? Seeking out that growth.
Yeah. We're going to sit on spiky chairs.
We got a picture of George Harrison up behind us with lyrics from "While My Guitar Gently Weeps."
Still mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
sign out.
yeah, we're signing out, and it's been good. It's been nice to get back, and we look forward to you tuning in again. Peace out.